At the start of the default FM24 database, you will find Claudio Echeverri at River Plate. However, if you're playing after the winter transfer update, which could be coming in the next couple of months, you're going to see that he has probably now completed his move to Manchester City. That deal is looking very, very likely to go through, and that means that once he goes to City in the winter update, you're probably not going to get to sign him. If you haven't heard of the player before, though, stick around because we're going to go 15 years into his career to show you just how good he can be. This is the player that is being dubbed by some portions of the media as the next Lionel Messi, so Manchester City really could get themselves a bargain. Looking at the player at the start of the game, he's just 17 years old, valued by the game at 4.9 to 15 million pounds. He would have a contract with River Plate that runs until 2025, but we know once he goes to Manchester City, he will have a much improved contract and will probably also receive an attribute update once the winter update is patched in very, very soon. Looking at him then, he's a player that at the age of 17 would probably step into most first team squads and will develop on the job. There is a lot of development to come out of him, but at the beginning of the game, he does look like a fantastic prospect. In the physicals, he scores highly for pace, natural fitness and acceleration. In the mentals, it's all about his flair, his leadership, off the ball, vision, work rate and anticipation. And in the technicals, dribbling, first touch, finishing, free kick taking, passing and technique all score highly. He starts the game with a few player traits. They are tries to kill balls often, shoots from distance and cuts inside from the left wing. So at the start of the game, he looks like he's going to be a true superstar. If you want to sign him before he goes to Manchester City, you have a limited time to do this, because once he goes there, I think he really is going to get an update and you will not get him away from Manchester City's squad. So that's him at the start of the game. Let's jump to 2028 to see how he develops in the game. Here we go then, we are now in 2028 and we find a 22-year-old Claudio Echeverri is still at River Plate. He has not yet traded South America for Europe. He's valued in the game at 2.9 to 8.8 million pounds as a contract that runs through to the end of 2030. Looking at the player in terms of his development, there is a bit of development, but not as much as I actually thought there would be. His physicals have started to come in a little bit with pace, natural fitness and acceleration scoring highly. In the mentals, it's all about his flair, his vision, composure and anticipation. Also, he's off the ball is 14. And then looking at the technicals, dribbling of 14, first touch of 15, passing of 13 and technique of 15. He has managed though to amass a lot of player traits. So now tries killer balls often, shoots from distance, plays 1-2s, dictates tempo, arrives late in the opponent's area, likes to beat the opponent repeatedly and cuts inside from the left wing. If we look at his playing stats to see how he has got to this point then, so in the 23 campaign he only played 4 times for River Plate. He then in the 24 campaign would not play at all, and this is probably what stifled his development a little bit. In 25 he would break in and be a first teamer, but only play 14 times, then 11 times in 2026. He would play twice in 2027 and only 6 times in 2028. So it's a little bit shocking to see that he hasn't actually broken into that River Plate first team and really kicked on in his development. The big question is what happens next? Will he crack River Plate's first team and stick around for 5 more years? Or do we find him in Europe? Or will he go somewhere else in the world to get first team football? Let's go to 2033 and find out. So we have jumped forwards. It is 2033 and we find a 27-year-old Claudio Echeverri has finally left Argentina and River Plate, but he has only gone to Brazil, which is quite interesting as I thought he would be nailed on to come to Europe. He's on a contract worth £150,000 per week that runs until 2035. He's valued by the game at 8.6 to 26 million pounds. Looking at the player, the development has finally started to come through and there are some now big improvements in some of his attributes. If we look at the physicals, they pretty much look the same. Acceleration of 15, agility of 15, natural fitness fitness of 15 and pace of 15 are the impressive ones there. But in the mentals now, anticipation of 16, flair of 16, off the ball of 17, and vision of 16. In the technicals, 16 for dribbling, 16 for first touch, 16 for passing, and 16 for technique. If we look at his playing time to see how he has got to this point in his career then, so he stuck with River Plate all the way until the 2029 season, where he actually played the most games of his career in a single season at that point, playing 41 times. That prompted him though to move on to Flamengo for £13.75 million, and in 2030 he would play 36 times for Flamengo, scoring 12 and assisting 8. In the 31 campaign he would play 47 games, scoring 12 and having 10 assists. In the 2032 campaign he would play in 41 games, 15 goals and 8 assists, and in the 2033 campaign, 25 appearances, 9 goals, 9 assists, and a 7.26 average rating. So that first team has definitely unlocked some of these attributes that have started to develop. And the good thing about him is that when we come back in 2038, he will still only be 32 years of age. So there may still be little bits of development to come from the player. So let's see what happens in 2038. Is this Flamengo move a stepping stone to come to Europe, or is he going to stick it out in Brazil? Let's jump forwards and find out. So we have now moved to 2038, and we find a 32-year-old Claudio Echeverri has finally made his move to Europe, and he's now playing for Nice. He's valued by the club as not for sale. He has a contract worth £215,000 per week, and that runs until 2040. Looking at the player, he's still pretty much the same player as he was 5 years ago at the age of 32, maybe slowing down just a touch, but in terms of the physicals, he still has good agility, natural fitness, acceleration and pace. In the mentals, anticipation, composure, flair off the ball and vision. And then in the technicals, he has good dribbling, first touch, passing and technique. Let's have a look then at the player's career stats to see how he has got here. So he actually switched to Europe before going to Nice, but look at this for a transfer path. So he stuck it out at Flamengo until 2033, where he would swap Brazil for Liverpool. He would go there and play 22 times in the first season, 16 in the second season, and he would only play once in the 2035-36 campaign before he'd be loaned to Nice initially for £925,000, play 28 games there, finding his feet and scoring a 7.5 for average rating. Then that would be followed up with what I presume would be a pre-arranged move for £43 million, and he would play 34 games, 2 seasons in a row, scoring a 7.16 and a 7.32 average rating season. So he's getting better and better as he goes along. That leaves him at this point with career stats of 391 played, 99 goals, 65 assists, 31 Player of the Match awards, and a 7.12 average rating for his career. Now, he's been billed as the next Lionel Messi. I do think that this part of his career here has held him back somewhat, because if you think about it, Lionel Messi was already in Barcelona's first team at the age of 16 or 17. So to see him have to wait for nearly 4 seasons to get a proper season under his belt means that there is probably more development in the player, and you need to get him in the first team to see it. If we look at some of the competitions that he has won then, they're probably not a lot here after he swapped River Plate for Flamengo. So he won the CONMEBOL Libertadores Sub-20. He won European South American Youth Super Cup as a runner-up, first under-21 international cap was against Chile. He was another European South American Club Challenge runner-up. Copa Argentina Axion Energy runner-up. Then a switch to Brazil saw him become Campeonato Estadual do Rio de Janeiro champions. Copa Betano de Brazil winner. First international cap was at the age of 24, and the first goal was at the age of 24 against Ghana. CONMEBOL Libertadores winner with Flamengo. Then into the next season, he was a runner-up in the Supercopa Betano do Brazil. South American Recopa winners, the Campeonato Estadual do Rio de Janeiro champion, and a Copa de Libertadores runner-up. He was the Brasileiro Açaí champion. Then they won the Copa Libertadores in 2032, and they also won the Rio de Janeiro Championship in 2032. Going forward, the Recopa winner and the Rio de Janeiro champions. Then he switched across to Liverpool, where he would be a Carabao Cup runner-up, a Premier League champion, a Community Shield winner. In the next season, they would go one better in the Carabao Cup and win that. He would also win the Champions League whilst he was at Liverpool. And then, probably the big one, he went to Nice in 2036 and they won Liga 1 Uber Eats. Strange to see Nice beating Paris Saint-Germain, but that is exactly what they have done. And then they won the Trophée des Champions. He was a runner-up in the Coupe de France in 2038. In terms of personal accolades, if we go back and have a look, so lots of inductions into best 11s and seasonal best 11s, but he got the 2029 Copa Sudamericana Golden Boot third place. He was named in the Brazilian first team of the week, Flamengo seasonal best 11, named in the Brazilian Rio de Janeiro Championship team of the year, and the Copa Libertadores Dream Team. He was the Brazilian First Division Best Player, shortlisted for that award. He was Brazilian Best Foreign Player of the Year. He was named in the First Division Team of the Year. Then in 33, he was named in Brazilian Rio de Janeiro Championship Team of the Year once again. Then a move to Liverpool saw him in the Seasonal Best 11, Argentina's Seasonal Best 11, Liga 1 Uber Eats. Once he got to France, he was in their Seasonal Best 11s. Then he was named in the Stars Team of the competition, in 2036. And going forwards, he would be in Argentina's Seasonal Best 11, Liga 1 Uber Eats Player of the Month awards. There was Seasonal Best 11s, Team of the Weeks, and that kind of thing going forward. So a great personal career coming out of it. Maybe it was clever that he went to Brazil first. Maybe it was a good move to go and get first team football and really develop his craft whilst he was outside of Europe, and then switch to Europe afterwards. Certainly that spell at Liverpool and then definitely the spell at Nice has seen that development come through, and he ends his career with nearly 100 goals from 391 games. I think he turns into a fantastic player, and if you're a Manchester City fan and you're watching this, your youth development and the way that Pep Guardiola will bring this player through surely will outshine River Plate and Flamengo. Their youth systems are good, but Manchester City's are next level. And if anybody's going to get the best out of this player, and if you have really found the next Lionel Messi, I'm pretty sure that Pep Guardiola will know it when he sees it, having worked with the original Lionel Messi. I think this kid has all the talent in the world and really can go on to be absolutely anything. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Secondly, if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, I really would appreciate it. I cannot thank you all enough for sticking with the channel and supporting it and really helping it to grow. It really means so much to me. Before you go, don't forget there are other things on the channel: hints, tips, tutorials, Wonderkids, Let's Plays. Bit of something for everybody right here on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. I'll see you on another video very soon.